Welcome to Sikkim 365 Radio.
Shipley from the goal line. The impact is a runner and a receiver. And now is a return. Look out! Shipley in a foot race. Can they run him down? Yes! They'll tackle him at the 30. But a huge play if you get the second half of the Tigers starting a running back.
Sikkim 365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Dingle now the fullback in the I formation. Here's Rodriguez, and he finds a hole. And he is in. A contested run for Rodriguez from 16 out.
Sikkim 365 Radio is also brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, protecting Texans since 1952.
Hooker down the middle, got it on the fly. It's Hyatt again, and he's going to take it. Touchdown, Tennessee. 78 yards.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel? Search 365 Sports on YouTube. Brought to you by TFNB, your bank for life.
And they weren't really at the distance. There's a deep throw, and it's open. And it is caught at the 1-yard line by Quentin Johnson.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
And good afternoon on this Tuesday. For some reason throughout today, I thought it was Wednesday, but it's not. It's Tuesday. It's October 18th, and we have some things to get to. Today, the Women's Basketball Media Days in Kansas City, where Commissioner Brett Yormark made some comments. We'll have that for you here momentarily. We'll also hear from TCU star wide receiver Quentin Johnston, who played his football in Temple High School, just around the corner from us. Mac Rhodes, Craig's off the radar, JJ Joe, John McClain, and Paul Catalina. John McClain can tell us more about Jack Easterby, who was fired by the Texans earlier or over the weekend. So here's a tweet from Eli Letterman, and others were there at the women's basketball. Paul couldn't make it, but Eli Letterman with a tweet from Kansas City. Brett Yormark, Oklahoma and Texas will remain in the Big 12 through the expiration of the grant of rights of 2025. That's 24-25. Both schools were present for last week's league meetings, saying that the experience with Oklahoma and Texas has been very positive. Also, they're going to be here through 25. They've committed themselves in advance of me getting here, and they've reiterated that commitment. So they'll be here through the duration of the grant of rights, and my relationship with Texas and Oklahoma is very, very strong. They are full members, and we're looking forward to working with them.
For 2 glorious years, and then they're gone. I mean, that's not much of a surprise that that's still the party line. You know, nothing has happened that would make you think that it's going to change, but that also doesn't mean that something couldn't come up in the TV negotiations that will allow it to. But I do think that now we're getting to the point where you have to start scheduling the 2 years out of a 14-team league before you start scheduling out a 12-team league, just so you can balance out home and aways and, you know, where you're going over the next 2 years. So that's probably more in line with what we're getting over these next 2 schedules, since we're about to hear the 2023 schedule.
Yeah, I guess on the one hand, it was, you know, a lot of speculation about how quickly could OU and Texas go, and could they go as possibly as, you know, next year. And I think up until like now, people were still holding out hope. But as I pointed out last week, like the SEC schedules were coming out. So something had to give there. They weren't going to release those schedules and then turn around and surprise, scrap that. We're going to now add Oklahoma and Texas. Give us a couple months. Like, that was obvious once that happened that, next year was off the table. So, as far as the following two, I can only take Yormark at his word, and everyone else really for that matter at their word with how they feel. And all signs, every indication has pointed to them staying throughout the length of this contract. I mean, there's not really been much pushback at all on the OU Texas side of things. And going back to the last time we had this conversation, my whole thing about, will they, won't they was like, why is there an element of surprise here? Like, you're leaving. It doesn't need to be like the way we found out about the announcement. Like, if you have an intention to leave before your contract, just say that. Like, just if that's your intention, then